Okay, guys, I know you see the title. One of the small businesses that I was providing a loan for went out of business.
That's all, folks.
I know this is never particularly good, and it's always a risk that possibility that this can happen for any business, but it's much higher when you're talking about a startup or small business. But no further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to explain which business it was and the current actions that will be taken. Unfortunately, it looks like I will be pretty much losing relatively all my money in this particular company. Actually, I will. There's no mistake. Let me make that correction. But anyway, let's jump into my MainVest. So this is MainVest. Let me make myself smaller because I'm pretty sure you can care more about the companies than just seeing me on the screen. Let me just make me a little bit small. Okay, so this is my MainVest. MainVest allows you to provide loans. Well, yeah, it's pretty much a loan for small business, and they pay you back based off of the revenue. So it's not like the traditional loan, but they pay you the more revenue they get, the faster that they particularly pay you. So, anyway, let's go to straight into my portfolio so you can actually see which ones I particularly had. So when I go to my portfolio, you'll see that right now it's Hawaii, Wicked Bold, and Delivery. It's one of them. It sells chocolate. This one sells chocolate. This is the one OY that went out of business. They sell beauty products, and also this is the one that sells cannabis. So everything was going well. They were actually paying, making payments. As far as you can think about it as dividends or repayments since 2021. But unfortunately, they said of quite a few things particularly happened, and I end up receiving this daunting email. OY is closing. It says, after much deliberation, we unfortunately decided that it is necessary to close OY. We launched it in mid 2018. We were, blah, blah, blah. And then when COVID hit, the restrictions and closures, and had a major impact on the business. And they had the rest of the, particular story. Of what particular happened and all of that, but I'm not going to get into too much details. Just know that the business, due to circumstances, I believe they even said like a wildfire happened and most of that clientele. It was this, story, but the end result is particularly the same. So when let's click on OY so you can actually see. As you can see, these were the repayments that they were making. So they have, as far as repayments, based off, as you can see, based off of their revenue, it shows the amount owed to all investors and the amount owed per share. And they were doing a really good job. This was one of the ones I was like, okay, cool. So far, I invested 100. The repayment amount so far was $7.76, and by the end of January 1st, 2026, I would receive the full amount of the $175 by 2026. This is assuming that they don't go out of business. So I mean, the reason why I think this is pretty good so that people can see what could particularly happen, and with my investing experience, because I invest in a lot of different things and stuff like this happens. So I'm glad that, well, I'm not actually glad that this particular happened, but it's good for you to see like some of the bad things that can happen as well as the good. A lot of times people, when they talk about investing, they kind of just highlight the highlights and like act like everything is always great, but these are real things that happen. Companies do go out of business, especially a lot of small businesses and startups, as well as big corporations as well. But nevertheless, this is pretty much the emails I particularly got. This is the same email, that happened. They mentioned something about a wildfire happening and kind of lost their business. They tried to, they mentioned something about try to get more capital from a venture fund. They went bankrupt. It seemed like a whole lot of bad stuff. I mean, like I said, I don't know, how if all this exactly happened or something like that. Then they mentioned that some of the products they tried to sell it at a major discount to TJ Maxx and Four Seasons. It was just, you know, not particularly good. But I'm not going to focus on that too much. And then they end up letting us know this. They said for every $500 you invest, please select any two of the following. So they give you some of the beauty products or something. I guess that's their way of saying, hey, this is, we sorry you lost your money, but we can give you somehow, products that we particularly have. And it says if you invested 100 to 500, please see any one product above. So I would be able to get a particular product, but the $100 is pretty much lost. Well, $7 you can kind of subtract the $7.76. I did get back, so you could say I got about $92. I mean, I lost about $92. Um, but this is like relatively small, so for me, so it's not that big of a deal. But if I had a lot more money, it would, definitely be bad. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that this particular happened. If we look at some of the, and that's kind of what with that. It's, but if we look at my other ones as well, as far as, and I'll check the repayment so you guys can see. If you guys, let's look at my transactions. Like I said, I invested $100 May 17th, 2021. As you can see, they were doing well. And then yeah, as you can see that they were kind of doing well. You see and one of my investments is not particularly showing up. I don't necessarily know what's going on there. But yeah, so as you can see, as far as the latest quarter, it says, late. Of course, we know late because they went out of business. Also, this one, let me see, I think they're still in a grace period for this one. But this one, it looks like as far as the chocolate one, it looks like they're late, which is not good. Before they were kind of doing well, like each quarter it shows, the payments, that they were making, um, which is, good to see OOI, being consistent. It doesn't look, OOI is pretty much out now, and their payment is particularly late. I believe it says this business is in a grace period and doesn't need to make that first payment to the first full quarter. So okay, so that's okay. This one, I mean, why they're late, I'm particularly not sure. But that's that, and then it shows, how many were late. We know why they're late because they're out of business. This one, not really sure, what's going on there. Hopefully, they can, stay a particular float, but it definitely hurts the overall returns, since that's kind of like that Hawaii, the beauty care place went out of business. It's definitely unfortunate, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated on this, my experience with it, with MainVest. Like I said, it is an unfortunate situation that the business, that they went out of business. But as far as while we're on here, we can see the oops. So the annual summary for 2021, as far as the amount, $1.38. For 2022, $3.17. In 2023, I got a total repayment of, yeah. And by the way, this chocolate company, they had been doing really well. Total repayment $25 from there, and which gave me a total of $32.84. So yeah, guys, that looks like it's pretty much it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, let me know. Will I invest particularly more? I'm not particularly sure. Maybe once the amount gets up to 100 or getting close to 100, I might pick another company. Of course, like the going out of business thing, that particularly happened, so can't necessarily knock the platform for that. It just comes with the territory, unfortunately. That's why a lot of times when you have in small companies, they kind of spread it out because they already know that one or two, cannot make it, especially with the odds being against them. But nevertheless, that's it. We can also look at some other small business that they particularly have. But that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel.